Welcome back, customizers. If you click on this video, obviously this year you're interested in trying to get a vehicle, whether you want to use your stimulus money or your income tax, or maybe you've been saving up all year last year and you want to get a vehicle for yourself. But you might have some questions, or you've already looked into it last year and you just couldn't get that good deal. So this video is pretty much going to just show you what I usually do. I bought 11 vehicles now. I just turned 30. Oh, don't even want to hear it. And yeah, so this video could be quite drawn on out. So just to make that fast and easy for you guys, here are all the timestamps right here, and just click at the spot that has the most information for you. Now, if you want to get the full experience, well, set up, let's ride. So obviously the first thing you need to look into is your actual credit. If you have the money for it, I personally would get a MyFICO account. Those are going to have your most accurate account. Most people don't know that you don't just have 3 credit scores, you actually have like 18. They're like, what? No, you don't. Well, yeah, you do, because you have a credit score showing that shows for when you want to get a car, when you want to get a house, when you want to get a credit card, etc. whatnot. So your MyFICO account will show you all of those credit scores. Now, there's still only from the 3 big ones, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, but it will give you the plethora of all of those accounts. So if you can't get a MyFICO, get it. If you can't and you want something that's free, because right now this video is supposed to be for the budgeters out there, you can go in Credit Karma and make a Credit Karma account. But there is one thing about Credit Karma that you want to watch out for. With it being Credit Karma, they use, I believe it's called Advantage 3.0. So those credit scores aren't 100% accurate like MyFICO, but they're close enough to get you to know like what you can work with. So if you don't already have a Credit Karma account, you can set up for one. It takes like 5 or so many minutes, and they're just gonna ask you some identification questions and whatnot, and it's a breeze. So go ahead and log on in, see what your credit score is. So the second deal is do you already own a vehicle? Because if you already own a vehicle, you can use it for trading on the next vehicle. So if you don't own a vehicle for this one step, you can just go ahead and skip it and go to the next step, okay? So if you already own a vehicle, I would go on to Kelley Blue Book. Kelley Blue Book is really easy to understand. You can type in your make, year, and model of that vehicle, and then you'll get a rudimentary like fair, good, and excellent condition, or whatever how they phrase it on the website, and they'll let you know what your car is worth. And if you look on there, it's got usually like 3 little tabs. One's like a third-party buyer, one's like a trade-in, and one's like an instant offer, I think it's what it's called. So the instant offer, I think it's Kelley Blue Book's way of giving you an offer of like if they can buy your vehicle. I believe that's how that works. I've never went that process, and that's not what we're going to be talking about today on this video. The second one, third party. Third party means if you wanted to sell your vehicle to someone else, like your friends or a family member, or you post it on Facebook Marketplace. What's a good offer on third party? And then the third option is what we're going to be talking about today. Essentially, trade-in offer. What's a good trade-in offer for your vehicle? Take that, print it off, screenshot it, whatever you want to do with it. We're going to use that information later on down the line. All right, so step number 3, in my opinion, the most fun part, finding the car you want. I've looked through a plethora of different websites, but not. My favorite one by far is Car Gurus. This is not a sponsored video. I can just say that I've used Car Gurus for a lot of different people, and it's always worked out good for all of them. Car Gurus is going to give you offers from all over the place. You can do it within local towns or 50-mile radius out, or you can go to different states. So I've gotten deals, like offers down to Mississippi from over here, and different states do offer different good deals. So if you have the availability to go out of state and get a better deal, take it. And Car Gurus will give you those offers all over the place. And the great thing about Car Gurus is that they're networked with all the local dealerships, 9 times out of 10, even the mom and pop dealerships. Any cars are on sale on Facebook Marketplace, anything's been posted anywhere. Car Gurus takes all these different websites and they put them all together on their website. And it's great. So if you ever just want a vehicle, that's the easiest way to go look for one. So now you're on Car Gurus, whatnot, and you want to make sure that you get a vehicle that you like. Well, first off, personal preference does play a big part in this. What kind of vehicle are you interested in? Are you trying to find a minivan, crossover, SUV, 4-door sedan, 2-door coupe, sports car? Don't get a sports car unless you're me. Then, get a sports car. But either way, we're living on a budget, so no sports car. Take into account these 4 ordeals. So make sure that you look into the brand of the vehicle that you want to get. Make sure you take into account the year. Make sure you take into account the miles on it, and then definitely take into account of how many owners this vehicle has already had. Typically, cars 2 owners and below are green. Anything over 2 owners, I personally will walk away from. If a vehicle has a lot of owners, those owners, some people take really good care of their cars. Sad to say, the majority of people don't. They either don't get oil changes on time, don't change out air filters on time. Maintenance wise, it's just terrible. They pretty much just run it till it blows up. Branding wise, you want to get something that's reliable. I would always try to stick with an Asian market at first. You know, something like a Honda or a Toyota if you can, but those vehicles can be kind of costly. So just be smart about what brands to kind of like stay within, and then there are some brands to completely stay away from. Now look, I don't absolutely hate all Nissans, but I kind of don't really like a lot of Nissans. And it's got nothing to do about, you know, how they look or anything like that. That's got nothing, it's reliability. Also, you guys gotta remember, like 2008, 2009, we had a whole recession. And during that recession, a lot of car companies had to be bailed out. American car companies, including like my guys, Ford and whatnot. That really rolls into what year you get. Because what year you get will define a lot of times what quality you're gonna get in that car. It's a 2007 Mustang won't be as in good quality condition as like a 2011 Mustang. And it's not just solely because the 2011 is newer. No, during the recession in and of itself, a lot of car companies, a lot of American car companies had really poor quality. That is why they needed to be bailed out, because no one was buying their cars. So it's important that you really focus on what year car to get. And if you want more information on that whatnot, just hit me up in the comment section. I got you. As far as miles, I always try to get, if you can stay under 100,000 miles, that's great. But again, this is a budget-friendly video. So if you want to make sure you stay within your budget, try not to go any higher than about 135,000 miles. The last part is obviously the most important part, the dealership themselves. Number one tip right off the bat, stimulus checks are coming on in, income tax money is right around the corner. If you go to a dealer and you have the money really available to buy a car, never let them know you intend to pay full cash. And never put a heavy down payment down. Now, a lot of people have been told the exact opposite. Pay, if you can buy the car in full, buy the car in full, whatnot. Which is nothing wrong with that part. That money could be used somewhere else, which I was explaining that in another video. But either way, if you tell the dealer you intend to buy a car right out in cash, you're probably more than likely not gonna get a good deal. They will find ways to tack on fees, APR rates, car lot fees, you name it, to get that money out of you, because dealerships make the majority of their money on interest. So if you're paying in cash, well, they know they're not gonna get a lot of money out of you. So they're gonna find another way to get money out of you. They're gonna ask you, what's the desired monthly payment? Do not tell them. Do not tell them. If you don't remember anything else from this video, remember to not tell the dealer what you plan on paying a month or what's a budget-friendly number for you. You tell them, you give me your best offer so far. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna shoot back saying, well, we can't unless we know around the ballpark what you plan on paying. Do not tell them. Don't tell them anything. They don't have to know that. Just keep persistent, stick to the course. So once they, regrettably, at some point in time, finally go to the back and run some quick dry numbers, they're gonna come out with a sheet, and that sheet is almost always gonna be crazy high. What that sheet is a dry quote sheet. And that quote sheet will have like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, term limits, whatnot, for leasing out, for financing a vehicle. And like the monthly payments will be like crazy high. They do that for 2 reasons. Number one, if you actually did tell them what you do plan on paying a month, they're purposely gonna shoot high to get it down to where you wanted to be at, to essentially give you no wiggle room to go any lower, which is the main reason why you never want to tell them what you intend to pay per month, okay? Reason number 2 is that if you did not tell them what you plan on paying a month, they shoot high to insult you and say, hey, look, well, if you had gave me your credit, then we could run some real numbers, or you told what you wanted to pay a month, then we could do something. They're lying to you. And honestly, in all given efforts, it doesn't matter. Take that dry quoted sheet and leave. I know, what? It's crazy. You've been doing all this time, doing all this studying and researching and trying to find the perfect car. You want me to go home? Yes. Never buy the car the day you go see it. Never. That is something I've always stuck by. Guys, I've bought 11 cars. And I can tell you that my best deals were made from days I did not buy the car the day I went to go look at it. I stress the dealership out. I don't want them to stress me out. Now, if you see everything, if the stars are just in line, just riding the planet and Jupiter, or just making love and all kind of crazy stuff, and you just can't get a better deal than what you've got, then maybe decide a little bit different on that. But chances are 9 times out of 10, you're seeing things through very nostalgic filtered lens. So once you have the sheet, this is gonna like diverge into 2 different courses. And we're gonna stick with the most likely course, the course that most people are more comfortable with. We're still gonna challenge you a little bit with that, but we're gonna try to keep it somewhat normal pace. So courses number 1 is that once you get that dry quoted sheet, that's when you really want to get on out there, whatever, leave the dealership, go back home, and then look at the sheet. That sheet is going to have the supposed interest at roughly, usually they'll tell you 10%, okay? Now, what I've come to find out, whenever I look at that sheet almost is never the interest of what they tell you. AKA, they say it's 10% interest, and it's actually like 12%. Again, the dealership is playing. They're telling you that, if you get this car, it's $6,000 bucks, whatever like that, it's going to be $350 a month, and that's 10%, and then that's for 3 years. And then for 4 years, it's like $285, and then for 5 years, it's like $195. Those are some whack numbers. I just threw some out there, whatever. But stick with me. The point is that sheet and the quote that they give you for the interest and monthly amounts are so far that you would never even know. And most people that they're not really good at numbers, would never even know to really double check those numbers. So again, like they'll be rated at, they'll tell you that the interest is 10%, but really the interest on that sheet is actually 12%. And I've seen them be as high as 14%. So when you go back there with nice, well, you know what, I'll go with a 3 or 4 year, whatever like that, or a higher 5 years, whatever, just to save you money. And like they've already got you. So what I do, I take that sheet and I will actually break down the math for them. And then I will show them like, hey, you told me the sheet was at 10% with these monthly costs, but my math shows you like 12 or 14%. And like you will catch them off guard. I've caught them off guard so many times that 9 times out of 10, they just go into straight denial mode. But like, that's the best place to have a dealer. Once you got the salesman in straight denial, at that point in time, like you can pretty much give them your worst offer and they'll almost always take it. So if you're trying to find a car at $6,000, whatever, and that's what you guys have been agreeing on, now's the time to negotiate down. So tell them, so you know what, my numbers show me that roughly about $5,500 is where I'm at, and I don't mind paying around this much amount a month, whatever. And like, it's wild, but they'll almost always take it. They'll say something to the phrase of, let me go talk to my manager about it. And they're not going to talk to their manager about it. They're going to walk in the back, sit down for a second, contemplate life for about 15 minutes, and then come right back up front. Talk to nobody, okay? So then they're going to tell you, so, you know what, we think we can deal with now. Let's go ahead and run your credit. Okay, now go ahead and let them run your credit and see what offer they get. But there's one more trick they're going to try to throw you with now, because those hidden interest costs are how they get everybody, okay? So once they run your credit and they send your information out to all these banks, right? Once they come back to you and they have a new quoted sheet with your actual credit score numbers and yada, 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 and get all these quotes on out, it's gonna look really appealing. 4 out of 5 or 8 out of 10 times, they're still playing with you. So what they're doing at this point now is like pretty much trying to throw in some hidden interest costs. So let's say they walk back to you with a quoted sheet, and instead of being like the 10, which is actually like 12 and 14% interest on that quoted sheet, whatever, it's actually like, they'll tell you it's like, oh, this is your actual rate, it's like 5%. Which you're thinking, oh man, 5%, that's really low, it's really good. But what that sheet actually is about 7%. So to avoid them throwing any more hidden interest costs on me, what I do is I ask them, can you give me a transaction of the approval sheet that you guys got from the bank? And they're gonna say, come again? And they're gonna say, well, here it is. And I was like, this is your quoted sheet. I wanna see what the bank sent you. Almost 9 out of 10, you're gonna catch them off guard again. Now, every now and then again, this goes really smooth for me. They're like, okay, here, whatnot. And they're actually being honest. Almost more times than not, they're lying again. So what they're gonna do is say, you know what, let me go back there and go see if I can go find the sheet. And they're gonna pretty much try to play this game where like they can't find it or yada, yada, yada. And it's telling them that you're not interested. Say that, you know, this isn't a bad price, but I feel like I can honestly get this lower somewhere else. And then try to walk away, try to leave. I can almost guarantee they're gonna be like, wait a minute, hold on 1 second. You know, let's see if we can do. Let me go ask my manager again. Let's see what the best we can get for you. And they're gonna come out with another quote. That is more than likely gonna be the actual true offer from the bank. Take it. So that's route number one. If you want to go that route, whatnot, it works pretty good. It's a lot faster. You go and get you the vehicle you want. The second route, it's a lot less pressuring for you. So let's go back to where we talked about getting the dry quote. Okay, so when you get the dry quote from the dealership, whatever, the one that they say is 10% interest, but it's actually like 12 or 14% interest, take that sheet to the bank, to your preferred bank, whatever bank that is. Now you've already looked at the Kelley Blue Book price in that vehicle and everything like that. You're gonna run your credit through the bank. The bank is gonna give you a pre-approved offer for that vehicle. What's beautiful about this process is that you can now go to the dealership with the pre-approval from the bank and just turn it into them. They're going to hate you for it because that tactic that they tried to do with you earlier with the first batch, they can't do it anymore. You have the true numbers from the bank and what the bank is going to offer you on interest and everything. It's already been set on up. All they got to do is just take the offer. The last guy is essentially the best salesman, and I'm going to just make this really short and quick for you. Pretty much tell him no on everything. Now, the only thing I might negotiate is gap coverage. And the quick tip for gap coverage, just tell them you plan on getting gap coverage through your own insurance. They will give you the best gap coverage offer after you telling them that. That's it. The last guy, just rounded it up real fast. Last guy, always tell them no. If you want gap coverage, just tell them I'm already getting gap coverage from my insurance provider. Tell them it's like 13 bucks a month or something else like that. You don't have to even be honest with them, whatever. And they will give you their best offer. And it's almost always gonna be way lower than the first offer they give you with the gap coverage, guaranteed. Most people don't even know that when the last guy is talking to you, he offers you all these, you know, extended warranties and windshield coverage, paint correction, blah, blah, blah. And they have like a huge variance between being like $1,000 to being like 300 bucks to get these things. And then they'll just take the amount and divide it up to monthly payments within your deal, your financing deal. What most people don't know is that price is negotiable. And most of it's a gimmick. Honestly, no windshield, no paint, no extended warranty unless you got like some crazy lifetime warranty that's just like heck of good, 9 times out of 10. I usually just tell them no. A lot of dealerships you can just get those lifetime warranties after the deal is over with and the pressure is nowhere near as thick as it usually is. And if you want to, you can just pay it right on out. Now, if you want to use that hefty down payment from earlier to pay for something like that, like after you get the vehicle, the financing has been started for it, take that money that you were going to use for a hefty down payment and use it to buy your extended warranty and or your gap coverage. It's brilliant. It's great. Now you got a car, you've got your gap coverage, you got your extended warranty if you want it. The bonus tip, because I know a lot of you guys were like, hey, you said I don't have to have a cosigner, so this wouldn't have my credits and all that good. So here's the beautiful thing. If you're a first time buyer for a car, or you know your credit isn't in the best standings, and you want to be able to get a car without a cosigner, I'm going to tell you my #1 best tip. There's a couple out there whatnot, but this one works the best for me because it has literally no risk on it for the person that normally would cosign for you. Let me explain. So if you know somebody in your family or friends or someone that you can trust and they can trust you, ask them to become an authorized user on one of their cars. Now, make sure that this person is someone who has good credit and make sure they put you on a card that has little to no usage on it, okay? The great thing about this is that they can put you as an authorized user on their credit card and not give you the credit card. So they don't have to worry about you using it and making their credit go to crap. No, all they're gonna do is sign you up to be an authorized user on one of their credit cards. That's it. The beautiful thing about doing this is that not only do you get a credit, you also get that person's credit history from that card. So if that card is 7 years old or 5 years old, you just got a credit history of 5 or 7 years. And that's awesome. Banks love to see that. And now that person doesn't have to co-sign for you. It's great. It's an awesome tip. And I'm telling you that it will save a lot of parents out there a headache. Put your kids on one of your credit cards, Never give them the card or anything like that, whatnot, and then wait about 2 weeks, whatever, before you do any of this stuff, and then go look for a car. I would say 2 to 4 weeks, 4 weeks preferably, to be honest with you. Give it time for that credit to hit your credit report, okay? And now you've got way better credit, so you're not gonna ask for a cosigner, or if they do try to ask for a cosigner or whatnot, go ahead and walk away because you've already got a good enough credit history. That particular dealer is gonna get as much money out of you as possible. 9 times out of 10, once you've gotten your credit over a certain limit, the sky's the limit, guys. So that is how you can get a car without a cosigner. We're living on a budget. We're gonna make sure we get the best deal we can, and we're not gonna try to bring someone else's credit down or anything like that, or make somebody feel like we could jeopardize their credit. Simply by putting somebody on an authorized user is more than enough to actually get approved for that car. And guys, that's pretty much it. If you like these tips and tricks, you want to hear any more about this, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Guys, it's like a couple of days later. I totally forgot to even add the fact that you need to make sure you actually test drive the vehicle. It's best that you try to test drive the vehicle well before you start talking about any kind of money. Good reasons for it is that obviously you need to make sure you even like the vehicle. There's been plenty of times where I've taken folks to the dealership and they test drive this car that they've seen online, they've been waiting for it all week, and then they actually hate it. So they end up wanting to get something totally different. We're back to the drawing board. And you can use the test driving experience to see like if there's anything wrong with the car, because the last thing you want to do is end up with the lemon, and that would be just completely terrible. So before you guys start talking about any kind of money to the dealer or the salesman, yada yada yada, just make sure you give the car a good test drive. Try to get up some good highway speeds, 45 miles an hour plus, and that'll let you know generally what's going to be the feel for the vehicle. Are you going to like it? Is there anything wrong with it? And that's pretty much it, guys. And I apologize. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.